And we're on.
Okay. Late night from Willowdale, even though we're no longer really in Willowdale, we're at Dufferin and St. Clair, but hey, we're in the same city. And I like that tagline because that's where I grew up. And that's where these videos started. So we're going to do a quick video about the NDP and their crisis and what happened in Edmonton. But first I wanted to start off with Toby Lake. He commented on one of my videos, and I appreciate that. And he mentioned the point that he really liked John Tory, and I think in one of the videos I was quite critical. I think I was one of the videos about Rob Ford. I can't remember, but I'd say, first of all, to Toby Lake, thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. It's nice that people watch them. We just do them randomly when issues pop up. I can see why you like John Tory. A lot of people like him. His approval ratings are really good. John Tory, of course, being the mayor of Toronto. Should mention that, obviously, because not everyone's from Toronto. And I can see why you like him. He's an agreeable fellow. He's he's doing a good job, according to many. He's doing a great job. He's out there. He's at every festival. He represents the city well. He's promoting the city. I'm not going to ramble on about John. I can see why you like him, and I know a lot of others do as well, and a lot of people think he's doing a great job. My problems with John Tory is that he was elected on a fraudulent promise, and that was Smart Track, which I, dismiss as crack track because it was merely just a pipe dream, or stupidity track or silly track. And it was a fraudulent campaign. He was elected on fraud, basically. A fraudulent campaign promise known as crack track or smart track or whatever. It was unworkable. It was never meant to work. Himself and a lot of his advisors just saw it as a convenient campaign slogan because Torontonians are so frustrated with the transit system they have. And now, of course, it's been proven unworkable, untenable. It's not going to happen. And I thought, John Tory was elected on a fraud known as Smart Track, and it's not going to happen. And it took us away from other important transit issues. And what my problem with John Tory is, he's all into transit expansion and subway expansion and Scarborough and everywhere, and it's all very sexy. And frankly, we need incremental changes to our transit system. We have a problem. If you take the subway, and I don't think John Tory takes it very often. I know he did during the election campaign, and I ran into him once at St. Clair West. We need incremental changes, getting the signal problems fixed. So many people are delayed constantly by signal issues on our subway. You never know. You can never go to an appointment. You never know if you're going to be late because of signal issues. Constant, and we never know when they're going to be when the signal system, which is quite old, is going to be upgraded, when it's going to be finished, when the subways can be run quicker, and we're not delayed all the time. So the signal issues is a huge problem, and I don't see any progress on this. And anyone who takes the subway is frustrated by constant delays due to signals. And I don't see John Tory taking any leadership on this. And forget about transit expansion. Get the signal issues fixed on our subways, and get our streetcars working more efficiently so they're not delayed at intersections. Streetcars should have right of way at intersections. A streetcar with 100 people on board shouldn't have to wait for some guy in an SUV waiting to make a left-hand turn in a major intersection downtown. Get our streetcars working properly and more efficiently, and it's easily done. Small changes that could be done to get our streetcars working more efficiently and get our signal issues solved on the subways. And I don't see any leadership from John Tory on this. He's into traveling the globe. He's in China now. He was in San Francisco last week. I don't think that does the city much good, frankly. Everyone knows Toronto's a livable city. Everyone knows Toronto's a great place to invest. And I think these taxpayer-financed trips are a waste of money. And I think he likes the photo op, and he likes the glamour of the job. But yeah, I don't see a lot of progress coming from the likes of John Tory. Yes, likable guy, and I can see why people like him, and I can see why people support him. But yeah, on the biggest file, transit, I think he's failed, and transit users in the city are so frustrated with all the constant problems. So I'm going to move on, but Toby Lake, thanks for your comments, and I totally understand why you like him. But I'm not a big fan of John Tory. So let's move on to the NDP, and I don't want to belabor this. I wanted to make this a short video. Okay, that was a fiasco in Edmonton. Oh my God! On Sunday afternoon, when those results rolled in, I thought all I could think of: this is a party in crisis. This is a party in disarray. This is a party heading for self-destruction. And I thought of the Republican Party in the United States, a party that's basically self-destructing before our eyes. The Republican Party has been hijacked by nutty extremists, right-wing extremists, the Tea Party, and then whatever's followed, the Ted Cruz's, Donald Trumps of the world. And the modern Republican Party, the party of Lincoln, it's heading for self-destruction. And it was hijacked by extremists. And I can see the NDP heading the same way. So, I should just, because I'll probably forget to make this point, but this is a very good point, by the way. Many have said that Barack Obama, because of his progressive policies, I'm not as big a fan of Obama, but Obama, in many ways, has helped destroy the modern Republican Party. Just the sense that he was elected, there's a lot of racists in the Republican Party. They've never accepted an African American as president. They challenged his birth and all that stuff, and where he was born, and Obamacare, and some of the progressive policies enacted, opening to Iran again, opening to Cuba. Yeah, it's destroyed the Republican Party because they know how to react to it. And yeah, good for Obama for destroying the Republican Party. It needed to be destroyed. And I'm sure they're going to hit for a massive defeat in November. So yeah, a lot of people have noted that. Yeah, the presidency of Barack Obama has helped destroy the modern Republican Party. And so let's go back to the NDP, because one can say that Justin Trudeau's victory in October is helping to destroy the NDP. And we saw that on the weekend. They don't know where they're going. They dumped their leader. They callously dispatched their leader, Tom Mulcair, got rid of him. Why he wants to stay, I don't know. He's like the drunk at the party who doesn't want to leave. And why he wants to stay, I don't want to know. I would have crawled into a corner somewhere. I would have been so humiliated. I don't know why he wants to lead this party. They've told you they don't want you, So I feel bad for the guy, but he kind of deserves what he got, right? He ran a cautious and conservative campaign with his promise to balance budgets, run no deficits, gave the Liberals an opening to the left. He kind of deserved what he got. You got to see Tom Mulcair as a transactional player. He was brought in by the NDP. He was elected by the NDP after Jack Layton to take them to the World Series, right? And he didn't. The Blue Jays purchased the services of pitcher David Price from the Detroit Tigers last summer to get them to the World Series, to get them into the playoffs, to get them into the postseason. David Price delivered for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays got into the postseason for the first time in many, many years. Tom Mulcair did not deliver for the NDP, and the NDP just suffered they got a humiliating defeat, right? They suffered a humiliating defeat. Saying all of this, the NDP is about to embark on a serious study of this stupid manifesto. One giant leap, in quotations, leap into stupidity and nuttiness. What are they thinking? This nutty document? This is a document that basically recommends that we destroy 10% of Canada's economy. Okay, we're talking about this, right? This is a document that recommends that we destroy the oil and gas sector in Canada. It's roughly about 10% of Canada's economy. People are already suffering in Saskatchewan and Alberta and in Newfoundland. Just throw thousands and thousands of more people out of work. This is the NDP, right? It's supposed to worry about the working class, working families. They don't give a damn. This exposes the fraud of the NDP, And of course, the document is authored by a bunch of Forest Hill socialists, Naomi Klein and Avi Lewis. I'm not going to get that too personal here, but Stephen Lewis, You know, the Lewis family have a massive house in Forest Hills, a rich area of Toronto, Forest Hills, massive mansion. They don't give a damn about working people. Avi Lewis was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He got married to Naomi Klein. Books have sold well. I don't know why. I don't know, they're all kind of silly. And they're not even... The funny thing with Avi Lewis and Naomi Klein, I've spent 20 years in the NDP and I never saw them around. They're kind of like Bernie Sanders. They're interlopers in a party that they were never really a part of. And now they put forth this stupid document. It's kind of like Smart Track in a way, Silly Track. It's kind of the nutty manifesto, one giant leap into stupidity. And the fact that the NDP is actually considering it is incredible. No, the party deserves to just die, frankly. It deserves to self-destruct. I mean, it's basically a cult, okay? I spent 20 years in the NDP, and it's a cult. All parties are cults. You don't get a political party to work unless it's somewhat cultish. You gotta, you need a lot of volunteers. You gotta do all that dirty work. You need people to believe in something. But the NDP is worse than the others. Oh my God! Like this thing on Sunday afternoon, we're all after the party's basically been destroyed and they've gotten rid of their leader in a very callous, nasty way. They're all chanting NDP, NDP. You know, and it's like a Nuremberg rally. If you've ever been to an NDP convention it's like a Nuremberg rally. Yeah, I don't want to be, I'm being nasty and facetious here, but yeah, it's almost like when you see the swastikas come down and they're all chanting and they're crying and it's sickening. It's sickening. And I'm being nasty and facetious here, obviously, but yeah, the NDP is more cultish than most. And Clete and I worked for a guy, Al Farouk, a really nice guy here in Toronto, ran against Bob Ray in a by-election in 2008 in Toronto Centre, ran federally for the NDP in Toronto Centre. A riding the NDP should have done quite well in. And he got destroyed. Bob Ray destroyed him. Al Farouk got maybe 10% of the vote. I don't have the exact. And I remember at the election night get-together, party, whatever, people are chanting NDP, NDP, like we had won this massive victory and we were absolutely destroyed. And that's when I realized that I got to get out of this cult. This is a nutty cult, and that's the problem with parties. They don't realize. When I saw this in Edmonton chanting after the party's basically gone off the deep end, they're all chanting NDP, 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 and it's kind of it's sickening. And so I'm not going to belabor that point. But I remember, actually, when I do these videos, sometimes the next day after that humiliating defeat for the NDP in Toronto Centre with Al Farouk, Don Newman, one of the great political broadcasters of our time, asked Jack Layton, then leader, about the defeat. And Jack Layton said, "No, this is great. This is, we're not defeated." And Don Newman said, "Come on, you were just massively defeated in a downtown Toronto riding, a riding the NDP should do well in. And how can you say that?" He confronted him and said, "How, Jack, can you say that this is a good thing?" And Jack, he just weaved and didn't answer the question. And Don Newman just went after him, and he sort of, I remember Jack Layton just sort of weaving and bobbing and not answering the question. I thought, that's so disgusting. And that's when, of course, I realized, I got to get out. So, anyways, I didn't make this tirade against the NDP, but the NDP, if they don't change their ways and come up with some moderate, good left-wing policies, but you can't go against. We need trade agreements. We need to develop the resource sector. We need pipelines. You just can't have these nutty policies and expect to be elected. I with Rachel Notley. If I was Rachel Notley, I said, "I'm out of here. Like I'm leaving. My NDP is different than your NDP." You got to have some policies that resonate with people, not just nutty policies written up by Forest Hill socialists, Chardonnay Champagne socialists who've never met a low-income worker, or never, they don't really give a damn about what happens to people who work in the oil sector or in the resource sector in Canada. If I was NDP, they should ignore Avi Lewis and Naomi Klein. I actually saw a documentary of Naomi Klein's the other day, or Avi Lewis's the other day on CBC. Just coincidentally, I think it was Sunday night, about the oil sands. It was boring and irrelevant and preachy, and yeah, no thanks. If I was the NDP, ignore Stephen Lewis, ignore his son, ignore Naomi Klein. They're all Chardonnay champagne socialists, and they don't really give a damn about most Canadians. And talking about cults, by the way, let's go to ISIS. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing the NDP to ISIS, but they're both cults. So, a couple of weeks ago I was saying that ISIS is a murderous cult, and it has nothing to do with religion. So, last week on CNN there were some experts, Philip Mudd, the former deputy director of the CIA, and there was a guy from the RAND Corporation, and a fellow from the New York City Police Department who was involved in intelligence matters. And they were saying, yeah, ISIS has really nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with Islam. This is just a murderous cult that attracts a lot of disaffected young people, particularly from Europe, who are neighbors in Europe, cities, Brussels, Amsterdam, London, whatever. Because, Europe doesn't do a good job of integrating a lot of immigrants, particularly not South Asians and Muslims and people from the Middle East. And they're disaffected, they've been discriminated against, and they're angry, and they join ISIS. They really don't give a damn about religion. And the same that come from North America. It's just a murderous cult. Jonestown's, think of Jonestown 1978, swallow the Kool-Aid. They're just a murderous cult, and that's all they are. And they will pass. They will pass. And they're not some existential threat to the security of the world. Yes, they're nasty and people are dying, but they will pass. And they're just, certain politicians use ISIS as a way to get votes and create fear, create intolerance. But yeah, they will pass, and until it's like Philip Mudd, former deputy director of the CIA, says, they have nothing to do with religion. They're just a cult, a murderous cult, and that threat will pass. And I just think people should get all up in arms. But yeah, I know people will die and will continue to die, and it's a problem in North Africa and Central Africa, as well as Europe. Anyways, I've rambled on a lot longer than I want, but that goes to talking about the nuttiness in the United States. These laws that have been enacted in Mississippi and North Carolina, discriminate laws that if it offends your religion, you can't serve people. So basically aimed at the gay and lesbian community. They're disgusting. It goes to show you how intolerant many parts of the United States still are. When you keep hearing American politicians talk about American exceptionalism, and yet they have American states that actually enact laws that discriminate against people, and they're based in religious sort of, they're all based in some sort of religious stuff. It's disgusting, and it goes to show you that, in many ways, as I've said before, the United States is a country that's still struggling with the Enlightenment. In many ways, it's still a country 13th, 14th century. Mississippi, North Carolina. It's a weird country, right? Because in Washington State and Colorado, you can buy marijuana. And yet you have this, it's a very bizarre place, I gotta tell you. But these laws, and there is backlash, and tried to do it in Georgia, and a lot of big corporations like Coca-Cola said no, 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 no. And of course they backed off because, money is money, right? But I'm surprised North Carolina, a lot of big banks based in North Carolina, I'm surprised that there hasn't been the same corporate backlash. It's probably coming. But yeah, these laws that discriminate against gay and lesbian people, that are aimed at basically gay and lesbian people, and yeah, they're pretty disgusting. And it goes to show you what a bizarre country the United States is. And yeah, of course you won't have any condemnation from the Republican Party on this, and I haven't seen a lot from the Democrats, but there should be a lot more condemnation on these laws. But it goes to show you in many ways what an anti-intellectual country the United States is, in some ways, and how they're still caught up in religion, and yeah, it's a bizarre place. Anyways, I didn't want to end the video on such a negative thing, but I kind of, I hope these laws are protested and I hope they're rescinded because they're really disgusting in the 21st century. Especially in a country now that has legalized same-sex marriage, right? All across the board. So this shouldn't be happening. And President Obama should be speaking out on this too. Sometimes he's not as good on speaking out on some of these things, but he should be. So anyways, that's it. That's my rant. Again, 20 minutes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on for 20 minutes. But I think we're good, Clete.
You think that's it?
I think that's it. I didn't mean to go on. I'm sorry about that, but so much to talk about.
I still can't think of a clever comment, but
yeah.
I don't know. What can we talk about?
No, I
don't know. I hope England stays in the EU, and
England definitely should stay in the EU. They've benefited from the EU.
Yeah.
And again, some part of the British population is as nutty as the same kind of people that support the Republican Party, support these nutty Ted Cruz, Donald Trump types. They're xenophobic. They're intolerant.
Right.
The European Union has benefited Britain.
So how does the Schengen thing kind of play into that whole mess?
Well, the Schengen thing is an agreement where you don't need a passport. You can just travel from Amsterdam to Barcelona without a passport.
England's always considered kind of outsider anyway.
It's not part of the Schengen zone.
Right. And they're not part of the Eurozone.
You still need a passport to get into Britain if you're in.
Right. So they're already kind of metaphorically.
But now there's a lot of pressure now because of the migrant crisis to change the Schengen agreement. But the Schengen agreement, see now we're going on in this video, but the Schengen agreement is the essence of the European Union. It's passport-free travel.
Mm-hmm.
We're one union, and it's like the U.S. You can travel from one state to the other.
Right,
it's like the United States of Europe. It's like the United States of Europe. It's a great thing.
But now that Merkel is kind of holding a good stewardship of the helm, and she's kind of siding on Turkey's side in terms of a gateway to the Middle East, then
that's a complicated thing because Turkey. They've made an agreement where if Turkey could try to stop migrants from crossing into Greece,
right,
or going north, I guess into Bulgaria and wherever.
Right.
Merkel will try to facilitate Turkey's entry into the EU, which it hasn't done.
Right.
The EU has stopped Turkey from coming into the EU because it's racism. They don't want a Muslim country in the European Union. Partly because Turkey has a lot of human rights issues. Is one of the
right.
It's not a very pleasant place, especially if you're Kurdish.
Right.
There are lots of reasons. The migrant crisis has totally screwed up Europe.
Oh, I bet.
And it's threatened the European Union, and we don't know where it's going to go. And we addressed this in a previous video, so I don't want to go on.
Well, you can go on.
No. But this is a real crisis for the European Union, the European project, integrating Europe. And now they're talking about borders again, and that's terrible. It's anyone who's been to Europe, it's great that you can go from Amsterdam to Paris without having to show a passport, or go, all the way to Barcelona, or, go from Rome to Frankfurt. It's great to be able to do that. It's especially, for Canadians that have to now show a passport and go through all this rigorous security detail just to go to the United States. Mm-hmm. It's great that Europe is doing it, but European projects have been threatened by the crisis in the Middle East and North Africa, and some of it's their own doing. The Europeans were involved in the bombing of Libya. They're now bombing many European countries are bombing the crap out of Syria and Iraq.
But now
so they're partly responsible for a lot of these migrant crises.
Right.
But the migrant crisis is about to destroy is really threatening the European Union. It's created a lot of xenophobia.
Right.
But some of these, Belgium took in a lot of immigrants. People look at the downside. Belgium's a country in crisis. They thought
they could integrate them better.
Yeah, they thought they could, but it was a great. Belgium took in a lot of immigrants, and Germany's trying to do the same. And now Belgium's a country. Yeah. Now Belgium's a country in crisis. Now they're talking about there's a real separatist movement in northern Belgium, which, as everyone knows, Belgium used to be part of the Netherlands.
Right.
There's a separatist movement in northern Belgium. Northern Belgium is Dutch, southern Belgium is French.
Yeah.
And Belgium has never been a real country.
Right.
Separated, I guess, since the 1830s.
Right. Well, I have to use the washroom, so
you have to use the bathroom. Let's shut this down.
Okay.
Sorry, this video went on longer. You asked the questions. I just had to answer.
I get it. But it was on the agenda tonight on TV.
Okay.
So,
well, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.